It's a good week, and we didn't play our best ball and feel like we still haven't. But anytime you can go 3-1 on a week is a really good week. Started off with a Texas Southern team that came in and gave us everything we wanted. I don't know that we've played a game in ideal conditions yet, which is no excuse, but it rained for the first 3 or 4 innings, only when we pitched and played defense, and that's the way baseball does you sometimes. Wind up walking, I don't know, a bunch, maybe 10 or 11, few errors, and accounts for like 11 runs. But our offense was able to settle in, and we drew some big walks ourselves. I think we walked 11 times, and we're able to take that game, which we really needed. And that gave us confidence heading into practice and on Thursday. And then hit with another just not ideal weather weekend this past weekend against a really good Nebraska team. And look, the Friday night game should still be 1-1 right now. I thought SEMO was dominating. We can't turn 1 run into 2 in the first, and then we give up 4 runs in left field just on misplayed balls, and another run or 2 between second and third base. And so probably cost SEMO a 6-inning outing instead of, he only goes 4. Still has 7 punches or so through 4. Only gives up a hit or 2. And some of that first game's on me. I'm trying to hide a bat or 2 in there. And so we come off of that game and just talked to the coaches and said, look, just pitching and defense. We'll run our best defense out there tomorrow. Wind up having to play a doubleheader, right? And which looked like the right call. I was shocked we even got the second game in on Saturday. And then Blake McGehee was the story for me. Without his start, none of that other stuff is possible. We get a great start, 5 innings. I don't think he gave up anything. I don't even think he gave up a run. Like 5 innings, 7 punch outs, no walks. Toit follows that, looked like Toit of old. He goes 4, 1 run, no walks, and 6 punches. So we're 0 walks, 0 errors, 13 punches on that first game. And that sets the stage for the second one. And that's when I thought our offense started coming together a little bit. I think I started 4 or 5 freshmen in that second game. And 4 maybe. We're able to spin the game on them early, make them really uncomfortable, and then take advantage of some mistakes by them and run that score up, and then hand the ball off to Erman. And I'd like to say I've never seen that before, but I've actually seen him do that to us in practice a few times. So, and not this year, but last year. And so he had legendary status going into that game just in our clubhouse, but I think he solidified it after that one. And he'd have done whatever it took to finish that game, and he did. And really kind of got us going. I think we're sitting at the same mark we were a year ago, or right around there, and haven't still not played our best overall baseball yet. And that'll come. I don't know when, but it's coming. So big week this week with a good McNeese team. They're off to a great start. Sela's doing great, and we'll have them at home. McNeese on the road tomorrow. Sela here on Wednesday, and then jump a flight to Irvine, California, play a really good UCI team that took 2 out of 3 on the road at Texas Tech this weekend. So with that, I'll take any questions.
It's just a help. The Tuesday night, you're able to get some young kids out there to throw, even though they might not have performed like I know you and they would have wanted in bad conditions. How much will that help you going forward, those guys getting to get out there on the lights?
Anytime you don't play good, Dan, and win, you got a real good chance to learn from that. You can learn from it if you lose, but, man, when you mess around and win, you got a really good chance to cement those lessons. And to see a guy like JR, that's his best outing ever here. We know he's got it because we've seen him do it to us plenty of times last year and this year, just in practice. But to see him put it together, that was a huge spot. He basically won that game for us. So that'll earn him a start tomorrow night. And hopefully he'll build off of that.
So is Andrew going to be like a week-to-week thing for a while?
Yeah, I think forever. We don't know. I'm watching him the other night, and I'm like, well, we'll see you in April. I don't know. But when you catch that, you got to ride it. Catch a wave like that, just ride it to the finish line. But I talked to him this morning. He was bouncing around. He said he feels pretty good. So, Boy, I tell you, if we could have that, obviously not depending on that every time, but when he's got hand speed, that we've seen him do it to LSU, we've seen him do it to a bunch of teams, and so hopefully we'll have him this weekend. We'll see.
Coach, you talked last week about the frustration you were having with the mistakes, the freebies, the gimmies. Texas Southern game, not fantastic. Friday, a rough game. What flipped the switch to Saturday when you guys just played lights out? What did it? What'd you say?
Honestly, and this is the truth, I walked in, we have a baseball school. That's what we call our team meeting, baseball school, before every game. And I think I said one sentence. I said, we need less talk, more action, and more work. And so with that, we took the field early. We had early work before we even had BP. All we did was defense. We were out there a pretty good while and just went back to work on defense. And, because you can really draw confidence in this game from defense and from pitching. It's hard to show up, put your truck in park, and get out and go, man, we're going to draw all our confidence from our bats today, because you don't know. You don't know if you're going to hit. And you don't have a ton of control. If we could smoke 12 balls and they might not find any holes. And so when you can draw your confidence from defense, you have a chance to turn things around and get going. And that was the recipe that we used for Saturday.
Higgs showed a little bit, had a nice series, even on Friday you did okay. So you need it.
Got to have it. And I talked to him and Caleb and Donk, and look, our older guys have to play good. And if Higgs gets hot, watch out, because there's nobody can get as hot as him. And for as cold as he can get, sometimes he can go just as red hot. And he had a big day for us, obviously.
Who have you seen defensively that kind of sticks out in the first few weeks again?
Well, I thought the key to our day Saturday, kind of an unsung guy, was Sammy Ardwan. And getting him back at second. See, Friday's on me. A lot of it I'm playing guys out of position and just kind of getting greedy with the offense. I stuck Lee in a tough spot at second. I stuck Ballard. He hasn't been in left field. He's just a great athlete. So I can fix those things just by not doing stupid stuff. That's on me. But our defense is good when we have the guys in the right places. And I thought Sammy really solidified us on Saturday, and not to mention Cheo catching 18 innings and like it was nothing. And so that was gigantic for us. Markle did well too. Markle played really good on Saturday.
What does winning a series against a top 25 program say as a statement about this team early on?
Well, Jamarcus, it kind of just gets our mind back to thinking we're good again, and each team has to answer that question. You don't it's easy to draft off the team that went before you. You can just ride right behind them and think you're good, but you still have to go prove it. And I think that, to answer your question, is a chance for us to validate a little bit of that, because look, Nebraska's good. They got good frontline pitching. They can run. They're athletic. They're going to win a lot of games. And, I wouldn't be shocked if they win that league. I wouldn't be shocked if they were a host. But, yeah, we believe we're good, but you got to go out and prove it. You don't get to be good just because the last three teams were good. And so plus you got a bullseye on you. You're going to get everybody's best. You got to go prove it. So that's kind of what that does. And one thing about this group I really like, and it's very, very encouraging for the future, is if you watched us on Saturday, it was 40s and it was raining, and we just lost, pretty tragically on Friday because we did it to ourselves. Our energy level was great to start. Our compete was great, and it did nothing but do this all day long. We never tired. We never slumped. It was just all-out passion all day, and that's the battle I think we won on Saturday.
How do you keep them at that high of a level and keep that momentum going?
You don't. It's who they are. You don't. You've got to have personnel that's who they are. And we've done a good job over the years of finding those OKGs, our kind of guys, that we know they can play for us, and we know their intent and intensity level. And, you can teach and you can demand, but, and innately, you've got to have that spark inside of you too.
So if you keep Sam at second, that kind of ties you into first.
Yeah, I mean,
With Lee.
Yeah, you've got Donk, you got Lee. Hey, look, we're not talking about the freshmen. I thought they played extremely well Saturday. I thought Dobson looked great over there, and you've got options. You got options. Higgy can play there, but I don't want 2 or 3 guys out of position. I don't know that that's not us. There's been teams I could do that with, but I could also bank on 8 or 9 runs. And if Friday night's probably not the night to do that stuff, because you can't bank on that on Friday nights. And so that's on me. But I thought that turned us around and solidified us on Saturday, just because we gobbled up. Our only error Saturday was Herman with a 5-run lead trying to pick the first. Explain that one. I don't know. He can't even explain it.
Talk about just the challenge of UC Irvine, what that's going to be like.
First of all, they're a great coach. He was a great player, and he's a great coach, Ben. And they've got really good, some older personnel. And some of those guys, I guarantee you, were here 2 years ago. And, gave Texas Tech everything they wanted. They got after Nebraska first game of the year, gave Texas Tech everything they wanted. They took 2 out of 3 over there yesterday in Lubbock. It was a tough place to win. Really good approach at the plate. They're going to pound that strike zone, and they're going to play good defense. One thing I can guarantee you about UCI is they're not going to beat themselves.